Hi guys, it's Chelsea, and today I'm here to talk about the fact that I just got diagnosed with Asperger's. So I wanted to make a video to bring awareness to Asperger's.
Fuck being good, I'm a bad bitch. I'm sick of my...
So, I have always felt that I was off somehow as a person, and I didn't really know what it was, but last year when I was actually working at that abusive employer, my sister suggested I watch a couple YouTube videos, and she said, I think you might have Asperger's, because one of the main reasons that she thought so, she thought that I can't do my own hair. I struggle to curl my hair, I struggle to sometimes even straighten it, I struggle to put it up. I can't dye it myself. Definitely couldn't cut it myself, otherwise it would definitely look like a half job. So I looked into it and I thought, yeah, this probably is right, but to get the evaluation done, I didn't find out till this year that it would cost $300. But Asperger's is a developmental disorder that affects social skills and communication, which is why I wasn't sure if I had it, because I am a writer, so communication is my strong suit. And social skills, I feel that I have good social skills, and I'm just all around, like, I try to be a good friend, but I guess it would explain why sometimes I don't understand why some people just up and leave me in my own little area and then they go off with their life and do them. But it's like other times I understand that people grow apart, and also as you age you also grow differently, so you have different ideals and stuff, and then if those don't agree, sometimes people decide not to be friends. And I don't ever feel bad about anybody that has or either walked out of my life or decided, or I decided, we mutually decided that we weren't going to be friends anymore. Because it was never, I never felt like it was like I hate you. It's always that, you know, you're growing over there and I'm growing over here, but I still hope that you succeed. But I just feel better over here doing my thing, and it's not anything bad, because some people are not, like, as I stated in another video, I am somebody who tries to make a deep connection with people, and I also am very open and almost outspoken about my own self. I am very self-aware. I am intuitive, so I pick up on when people are withholding truth from me. I pick up when people are not being honest with me. I pick up even when people are just not being themselves around me. And it actually, because I'm an INFJ also, I literally try to figure out what it is that they're withholding from me, and it drives me crazy. I just am obsessed with figuring out the why of things in life, and that's just who I am. But in regards to Asperger's, it generally involves difficulty with social interactions, restricted interests, desire for sameness, and distinctive strengths. And the research that I found through Autism Speaks, which I will put the link in the description box, I like the way they presented about Asperger's, because it's new to me. I didn't really know all that there was to know about it, and I also was a little surprised when I got the diagnosis that I was. As of October 30th, 2020 was the diagnosis. But the strength of someone with Asperger's is remarkable focus and persistence, aptitude for recognizing patterns, attention to detail, and the challenges are hypersensitivities to lights, sounds, tastes, etc., difficulty with the give and take of a conversation, difficulty with nonverbal conversation skills, uncoordinated movements or clumsiness, and anxiety and depression. Now, in regards to my own self, I felt that instantly the symptoms I knew that I had in regards to Asperger's, and then especially when I was diagnosed, then I was like, yeah, well, I am definitely bad at doing hair. I don't understand, like, how to go about it, doing my own hair, as well as I don't think I'm even that good at doing other people's hair. Hypersensitivity to sounds and smells. Like, I don't cook because I don't like the way things smell, and like the only thing that I make is I can make various dishes with eggs, because for some reason it's easy for me to cook it, and then it doesn't really have a strong smell, and I'm able then to eat it, and I'm like proud of myself that I could at least do that. But as far as cooking meat and things like that, I don't do that. But I probably could try. I've never actually tried outside of I made a chicken stir fry once, and I thought that came out fine. And then I have always not liked fireworks. I am hypersensitive to thunderstorms, so like I literally have to kind of sit in a room or even a closet where the sound is, there's a barrier, because for me thunder is as loud as it would be to a dog, and it also like drives me crazy. I also have where I am hypersensitive to kind of at like shows that where there's loud music, like even when I go to a concert or even to an event where there's loud, like someone's on a microphone or a loudspeaker, I have to sit further in the back in order for it not to be so loud, because if I'm up front and closest to the speaker, it bothers me. And I never really understood that was from Asperger's. The other symptoms that I have are my anxiety and depression that I was diagnosed with as of June 2019, but I've suffered with it since I was a kid. Like, I always was anxious to do like public speaking, and that's normal for anybody, but for me it was where I remember specifically in 4th grade where I did it was called the Tropicana speech, and I literally was shaking from head to foot, and I was red as a bird, and kind of like just I was shaking like a leaf, and I remember even my knees were quaking. And I just had such bad anxiety about doing public speaking that then in college, even some of the times when I had to do a speech, I didn't show up to class. And then depression, I've suffered. The first major incident that I had was when I was 12 years old. I considered ending my own life by cutting my wrist with a pair of scissors. And so I've always struggled with depression, but I never really got help for it until last year. June 2019 is when I was diagnosed, and then I started seeking more treatments for mental health. And also making people aware that I struggle with it so that they understand, and then they are aware that my brain processes things differently. My poor motor skills is definitely a yes, because as a kid I did ballet and tap, and I thought I was decent, but I struggled, like, even in kindergarten, I almost failed because my teacher said that I had poor motor skills. So, and then my motor skills have affected the fact that I never wanted to do PE, but then I ended up having to do it, in 8th grade and then 1 year in high school. And it was fine, but I just never understood athletics that way because I literally felt like a buffoon whenever I was playing sports. Like, my hand-eye coordination wasn't good, and like I couldn't play basketball for sure because I always felt like I was gonna get knocked to the ground, and I don't think that's how you're supposed to play. I'm very good at getting the ball in the hoop, but not being defensive or anything like that. But I don't let that stop me in the sense that now I do home workouts, and I have started boxing, and I just have always tried to better myself in that way because I don't want my motor skills to define me as somebody who can't ever achieve anything. Or specifically my Asperger's. So the other symptom that I suffer with is not wanting to drive. And now, when I was 16 years old, I took the driving test. I passed the written test with flying colors. I had my permit, but I never wanted to drive. So I kind of falsified my practice hours that you had to give in order to get your license. And I mean, I did most of them, but I really struggled with it because I always just thought it was because my mom had a SUV at the time, and like I didn't understand how to stay on the one side of the road. But that's a symptom of Asperger's, because I always was like getting too close to the mailboxes and things like that. But then I took the driving test in driver's ed, didn't pass by like literally 2 points, and so then I worked on it with my dad, who is an actual truck driver, so he's a professional driver. He worked with me, and then I decided to finally get my license when I was in college, my sophomore year of college, because like it was kind of a competition between me and a guy that I liked at that time. And I finally got it because I went and took the driving test at the DMV in my area, and the guy who gave me the test reminded me of my dad, and he said, "You remind me of my daughter," and it was just like this funny like moment of like pure empathy as human beings, and like an authentic connection where he just saw like that I needed this license. So when I got my license, I was totally excited, but then I just never really liked being behind the wheel. I felt like I was overwhelmed, like beyond belief, and it's like this terrible fit of anxiety that happens within my mind, and it's actually because doing research on it, I found that with Asperger's, you have where you have too much sensory overload that it causes you to have anxiety. So that is what happens to me when I get behind the wheel. So I don't drive, even though I have my license and have been suited for driving. I would probably be a safe driver because I still know all the rules of the road, and I would follow them. But I just don't. I feel like it would be better if I don't because of how I feel behind the wheel. And you don't really want anybody who literally feels like they're crawling out of their own skin to be driving you around or driving in a car that's near you. Okay, so I will also leave the videos that I talked about in the beginning in the description box, so please check those out. Now, I'll read you. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to read 2 paragraphs that definitely show that I have the Asperger's. It says, when it comes to employability, individuals with Asperger's disorder are often distracted by internal stimuli, are very disorganized, and have difficulty sustaining focus on specific work activities. Often it is not that their attention is poor, but the individual with AD cannot figure out what is relevant, so attention is focused on irrelevant stimuli. Asperger syndrome individuals also tend to withdraw into complex inner worlds in a manner much more intense than is typical of daydreaming and have difficulty learning in a group situation. It is also important to know these individuals often are physically clumsy and awkward, have stiff, awkward gaits, Cooper, and struggle with tasks that involve motor skills. Particularly, they experience fine motor deficiencies that can cause handwriting problems and slow clerical speed. Chelsea appears to manifest many of these deficiencies to some degree. While individuals with AD usually have average intelligence, they lack high-level thinking and comprehension skills. They tend to be very little. Their images are concrete, and abstraction is poor. Their pedantic speaking style and vocabularies can give the false impression that they understand what they are talking about, when in reality they are merely parroting what they have heard or read. Although they frequently have an excellent rote memory, it is mechanical in nature. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm reading the wrong paragraph. When it comes to coping with stress, individuals with AD do not have emotional resources to cope with the demands of the average workplace. They are easily stressed due to their inflexibility. Self-esteem is low. They are often very self-critical and unable to tolerate making mistakes. Chelsea has manifested many of these difficulties in her life. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was my doctor actually recommended this book to me. It's called Pretending to be Normal by Leanne Holiday Wiley. And in it was a great book, by the way. It's a very short book. It's a memoir, and she talks about her experience throughout her life with Asperger's and then realizing she has Asperger's. Two things she notes in the book are about how she was in ballet and she hated it, and like she didn't understand it at all. And as I said, I didn't feel that way when I was in ballet and tap and stuff. But one thing she mentions is how she joined drama club and she felt very welcomed and accepted there. And I also, when I was in school, I took a drama class, and it was the one time in school where I felt fully like myself, because you get to perform and like become these other characters, and basically everyone within drama is just themselves, and they get to be like a freak. So that's what's awesome about it. So there's an incident in the book that she talks about that I felt really bad for her specifically about, where she talks about how she struggled in college making friends so bad that she was so depressed because she was so lonely that these girls invited her to go to the mall, and she was like so happy because she finally had people that like showed interest in being her friend. Then they asked her to drive them. She goes to the mall with them. She drives them to the mall. As soon as they get to the mall and they're all going towards the front door, they're like, oh, we'll meet you back here in 2 or 3 hours, and thanks for driving us. And then they literally ditch her. And to me, that really broke my heart, that people could be that heartless. But it gets better. She ended up where she actually drives herself around. She has a husband and she has kids. So, you know, just because you have any kind of like disability doesn't mean that you are limited. The world will tell you that you are, and in some capacities you are, and that's why there is disability benefits. But you can always still achieve so many things in life. And I feel like because of her story, and because of I will continue to do research on Asperger's, I'm going to work on driving, because I did get the A-OK to be a driver. I mean, nobody would have given me my license if they actually thought I wasn't a good driver. So, or a safe driver, to be more specific. So, it's something that I can work on, and in the future I may. But, just in general, being able to know that there are people out there who, there's a chance that, you know, I'll also be able to, find somebody that clicks with me and, possibly have build a life together as well. So, you know, it's important, and the reason why I'm making this video is that Asperger's is not autism, and whether you're autistic or you have Asperger's, it's a form of autism, but it is different from it because it's like a slighter version. There are severe versions of Asperger's where people actually literally can't take care of themselves. They're just similar to people who have autism in a more severe degree, in that they can't take care of themselves. They have to always have supervision and people checking on them and basically watching out for them, that they have guardians. And I don't, even in my evaluation, the doctor agreed that I am not one of those people, because autism is a spectrum, okay? And Asperger's is a spectrum disorder. So I am like all the way down here in terms of my Asperger's. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I want people to be more aware of Asperger's. I want people to be more aware of the difference between autism and Asperger's. And I also just wanted to share my story and let you guys know that I lived most of my life, I'm now 29, and I was just diagnosed with Asperger's. So thank you for watching, and until next time, feel free to express yourself. Bye, guys. Was because I